How did you transition from Attitude to what you're doing now, which is overseeing these reissue products for Cherry Red Records?
Wow, I don't really know. Well, I think what happened was, well, so that like I did Attitude for about a decade or so, like about 10 or 10 years, 12, maybe 12 years. I think I was there for about 10 years. And then after I left, I was doing other bits of freelance stuff for different Sunday supplements and stuff. But I was also doing like editorial, like more marketing stuff, sort of like advertising things as well. And I wanted to have a sort of creative I just want to do something different. And I always loved music, and that's why I got into it. It was always about music for me.
Yeah.
So I think if someone, I don't know I just approached them. I just found out and I approached them, and I wanted to do a kind of compilation for them. And didn't really know how to do it, and just thought, well, I'll figure it out. I mean, how hard can it be? And so I wanted to do Helen Terry. Do you remember Culture Club?
She did the background arrangements for them.
Yes. And she had one album.
Great voice.
An amazing voice.
Yeah.
A lost voice, like a great soul voice. Real amazing singer. And her solo album never did anything. And it got lost, and it had been pressed on CD in Japan or something and sold about 5 copies. So you couldn't get it anywhere. So I thought, let's put this out there. It'd be a good one to do. And so that was the first one I did. And that was about just over 10 years ago, I think. So after that, I just started regularly doing them. I don't know, 1 or 2 a year, basically.
Oh.
Different things that the whole sort of CD, the idea being that Cherry Red do physical reissues.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not about digital. It's not about streaming. It's about primarily CD, vinyl.
Yes.
Reissues.
Appreciating vinyl again.
Yeah, because that's so big.
Yes.
And so it's all about trying to get hold of, think of like albums that are hard to get hold of or haven't been reissued. Ideally stuff where you can get hold of the tracks, unreleased material, always fantastic. And that's very difficult to do a lot of the time. And or things like the 12-inch mixes or that B-side that everyone's forgotten. It's all about that. And so it's really fascinating. I love it.
Which brings us to hello.
Yes.
You're a Sheena Easton fan as well.
Oh yeah.
Right now from day one.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Same here.
Day one.
Same here. Morning Train. As soon as I heard it on the radio, I at first I thought it was Streisand. The craziest thing, and then the funny thing is, I remember reading People magazine, and they were comparing her to Barbara.
Oh really?
So, yeah, they're her very first record review, the Sheena Easton album here in the States. They were comparing her to Barbara.
Wow. I think that's actually. I think that isn't on that particular track. It's not the obvious comparison.
I think the nasalness a little bit when she was holding some of the notes and belting it out, and I kind of thought it was, and then you hear her own style,
Yes, when you hear and I think that's one of the things about Sheena that separates her from other kind of female artists of that time, is that she has that. I mean, as a vocalist, she's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And so those first couple of singles, Modern Girl and Morning Train, 9 to 5, are very pop and upbeat, and you might not necessarily realize. But then when He Shines came out, her first big, it's like, wow, this is that level of vocalist.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about her, actually, is as a singer.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
She's got chops.
Yeah.
She got chops, and it's really underrated, I think.
Underrated, without a doubt. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. Me and Ike are huge Sheena fans. And I read your interview recently about this project, and I think you were spot on in just saying, what was appealing to her was the fact that she could sing something pop and sell that, and yet she also could sing a ballad and be top notch in that category as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with with regards to this project, are you going to be rolling out album by album, or are you going to do, because I read in the liner notes that there was going to be a box set?
Yeah. So basically what it is so the answer to your question is no, yes. Yes, there's going to be a box set.
Okay.
That'll become the end.
Okay.
But prior to that, there will be. So basically, what this is a deal to sort of do. It's her EMI catalog. So it's absolutely everything from. Hence why the single is 80 to 87. So it's like it was signed to EMI. So the catalog, the whole catalog is licensed.
Okay.
And I can't say exactly what the next ones will be, but there will be other CD and vinyl releases, and hopefully DVD as well.
Okay.
All TBC.
Yeah.
But I think those according to plan, it will happen. And so there will be individual releases that come out prior to the box set coming out at the end.
Okay.
But what I'm planning to do is that on the individual ones, it won't be every single album. Because there isn't I want to have each one so it stands up its own. The ones that do come out as separate, standalone ones, will have material that's exclusive to that. So people aren't buying the same stuff over and over again. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it's trying to work in such a way that can happen. Yeah.
Now, will there be a release of unreleased tracks? Because I know Michael J has one on here. Anything can happen, which is fabulous. And then also too, Sweet Talker, which I believe was Shep Pettibone, right?
Shep Pettibone did the remixes. Yeah, that's right. So those tracks were from her 1986 recording. So basically, she recorded loads of material after the Do You album,
right?
Not Walker's album. The following year, she put out a one single, So Far So Good. But there was loads of material recorded, and as I was going through the vaults, I'd read about this, but you're not sure until you actually see it whether what's true and what's made up.
Right.
And what's particularly challenging about this project, this is the most challenging project I've done in terms of the issue, because it's so big. And I can't physically, her recordings are in America and in the UK. So the masters for everything for the first 3 albums or so is all UK. And everything else is US. And not even in one place in the US. Like in a few different locations.
Sure.
And so you get these kind of vault reports, I suppose they are. Literally hundreds of listings of the master, different early recordings, different takes, there's so much material.
Yeah.
And you can't hear it until you've had it digitized. Yeah. But to have it digitized is a really long and expensive process. And have it digital, because of the era that she was recording in, they're literally audio reels. And they have to actually be baked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know about this stuff. I didn't know about it until I started working and stuff. Like, what are you talking about, baked?
It's crazy. I know the process. Explain it anyway, just if you can briefly, because most people who are watching and listening will not understand what that means. But
so in the era when they were doing analog recording, things would be recorded onto different reels, and there'd be like the 24. The original is a 2-inch is the kind of master tape, the 24-track master. But then you have like other tapes which are like the master put onto one reel. Those are the ones I go for usually, and they will be like a 1/4-inch or a 1/4-inch tape. Because over time they age. In order to preserve the audio quality, you have to bake it, so you have to literally put it in an oven.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
crazy.
I've never seen this happen. I don't think it's like an oven at home. I think it's slightly different.
Specific oven, for that.
Yeah,
I only know about this process because I heard Howard Stern talking about it, where he had to take all his old tapes before he left the terrestrial radio, and bake them so that he could bring them with him to his new deal. And so that's when I started hearing about it. And I was like, this is the most bizarre process. They're baking tapes.
Yeah.
But it helps. I don't know what it does, but it brings out the sound quality. It preserves them. It helps.
Preserves it. And and if you don't do it before, it can sort of, it can deteriorate because of the age. It can deteriorate. The tape
could just break.
But it preserves it in some way. So it's a process. And so when you're trying to find tracks, sometimes it's really, I don't know, this is like boring technical stuff, so maybe this isn't like, but essentially you're just trying to find the master version of something.
Right.
It might be marked on a tape. Some boxes are unmarked. So what I've been doing for Sheena is I'm getting people to photograph the boxes in the locations. I was going to go, there's one outside London, but I couldn't go because of COVID. I was actually going to physically go there, which would make it so much easier. Because of COVID, when I was first looking at it, I couldn't go. So I have to try and get someone to photograph every box and look at the box and then kind of go, is this the right thing? Like, I mean, ideally, I'd say, just do them all. Do all 3,000.
Yeah.
I don't quite think we've got the budget. But, so you've got to kind of be quite
picky, and it sounds like a very challenging job because you're doing it based on what's written. You're like, all right, should I go for this one? This sounds like it is the one to go for. So but then you have to commit to it, and you may go ahead and have it digitalized, and then you hear it and it's like, no, we can't put this out.
Or it's just like, or it's kind of some rough thing where they're half doing it and it cuts off halfway through it.
Yeah.
But so Sweet Talker, for example,
that was amazing.
Literally in the vault list, there was like the song, because as Sheena fans will know, hardcore Sheena fans, of which you are too, will know there was a song called Sweet Talk called Secret. So I was looking at the list and like going, okay, what are all these different versions of Sweet Talk? I don't understand. And then some of them were called Sweet Talker, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then some of them had the dates listed. It was like, but this is 3 years later. This can't be the same thing. But some were called actually because the name of that song was originally Sweet. So confusing. The first track should be on Best Kept Secret was called Sweet Talk. Then 3 years later, did another song also called Sweet Talk, which eventually they changed to Sweet Talk.
Okay. Probably for that reason, right?
So, but there's loads that have exactly the same name, but are recorded 3 years later. It's really confusing.
Yeah.
And some are produced by. On the information on the list, sometimes they list the date, sometimes they list the producer, and so you can figure out like, wait, this is a different date or it's a different producer. This can't be the same thing,
right?
And so Sweet Talk was what. So when I actually got it back and got it transferred, like, oh my god, it's a completely different song. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Or you might do another thing where you get a tape. The most exciting part of this work, I think, one of them I say, is when you get a tape transferred. You're listening through it, and then there's like a load of silence at the end, and another song comes on, which isn't listed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
The song, which has happened, but I cannot reveal yet what it is. But
all right. So, can I ask you specific questions? Because I have a little bit, but it may spoil some things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Ask the questions and I'll.
All right.
Yeah.
Because the only era that I'm aware of where there is possible unreleased material is this era of 86 and 87, which I'm not even sure if Sheena remembers it, because in interviews recently, she has said that there are no unreleased songs, that everything's been kind of released already. So I don't think she even, and that may be selective memory. This wasn't the greatest period for her. There was changes at the record company. I think this is, and Ike and I have had many conversations about this very topic throughout the years.
Right.
And this is what I think happened during this period. Right. She came from a kind of lukewarm reception with the Nile Rodgers album. It didn't do as well as they expected. And then she recorded this killer song, So Far So Good, with narrator Michael Walden, which should have been a huge hit. I mean, it's just, it's a perfect slice of pop for 1986. And it wasn't. It underperformed what they all expected it to do. And I think that Anything Can Happen was the planned first single for an album that was to follow So Far So Good had it been a top 10 hit. Yeah. And the album was, that song was produced by Nick Martinelli. Yeah. And I believe that Narada had some tracks on that.
Yes.
And Narada had also recorded a cover of Young Hearts Run Free. With,
wow, you know your...
Yeah, we've had these conversations many times.
Yeah.
With Sheena at that time. And then, so for whatever reason, I think it's because of So Far So Good not doing well, they didn't want to release an album so quickly. So then now they moved into 1987. Yeah. Now we get a letter from Sheena at the beginning of 1987, like February, at the fan club letter. And it says that they're releasing an album in February. She was just finishing it up. And it was going to be produced by Keith Diamond and Narada Michael Walden. That was it. Just those two producers.
Right.
Which makes me think that they scrapped the Nick Martinelli tracks, which I think he had produced 4 from what I'm thinking. There might be 2 other Nick Martinelli tracks somewhere. And then that album, now at the same time that this was happening, and that's where I think Sweet Talker was planned as the first single for that, EMI was absorbed by Manhattan Records. So they merged, and EMI became EMI Manhattan. Now all the people that Sheena had worked with throughout her career were exiting the company.
Yeah.
And so during this time now, for some reason, the project changed from her typical mix of dance and ballad project to a ballad only project.
Yeah.
And that's when they brought in Phil Ramone, I think, produced a track. Yeah. And I think they did the David Leonard Prince Eternity track. So I think there's that's the songs that you referred to as being almost an album's worth of material. I think they're crossing between those two projects, which were different than the outcome that happened in the, when No Sound But the Heart was finally released.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, I was trying to get hold of Nick Martinelli to talk to him about, actually, to see if he remembers. Michael J, I spoke to, and of course you guys, he was obviously a songwriter, so he's not the person on the inside making that, so he wasn't clear on why. He had assumed that anything could happen. He had got a promo cassette of Anything Can Happen, literally, because they used to send out promo cassettes then.
Yes.
Literally of all the 3 mixes. It's there's no way that wasn't intended to be a single.
Oh, it's definitely intended. Yeah.
Sweet Talker, it's Sweet Talker had been or Sweet Talker, it was the first call, was recorded, written and produced by Keith Diamond. Yeah. And it was recorded in the June, I think it was, of 86. And then later in 86, it was remixed by Shep Pettibone. And getting Shep Pettibone to do these remixes wouldn't have been cheap. At that point, Shep had, by 86, Shep was pretty in demand.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was getting him to do a whole bunch of remixes wouldn't have just been, it was an investment.
Yeah.
It was incredible that stuff never got released. All the stuff you just said, I think I think it's correct. I don't know 100% for sure because I haven't got to that yet. Yeah. When I do, I want to really talk to maybe someone who is involved in those decisions to find out exactly. But I think all the assumptions are pretty clear. I just want to know exactly. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think it sounds like that. There was a change in direction for sure, and there was a change in our company, and all those elements combined.
Because these were top-notch producers at the time. These were top-tier producers, and to me, it sounds so crazy that they would just shelve those tracks just because So Far So Good didn't perform as well as expected. But I know that there was a planned release for the fall of 86.
Yes.
Then it moved to January or February of 87. And then it moved back again to June of 87. Yeah. And I know this was part of the reason why she eventually left the label, was just because all of this turmoil that was going on. I can imagine as an artist being frustrated with the fact that you're recording all these songs and they're not getting released, Yeah.
And they're not getting, exactly. So there is a whole bunch of stuff. So you're right. There is the stuff. There are sessions with Nick Martinelli, sessions with Nada.
Yeah.
The Keith Diamond stuff, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Probably about, I'm going to say 10. I'm not sure exactly how many songs. So hopefully, I'm really hoping that will all come out,
Yeah, because we used to get a lot of our information from Billboard magazine.
Right.
Billboard magazine is actually the one about Young Hearts Run Free, right? That Chris,
Harriet Wasserman, who was her manager at the time, had put out some interview or statement that she had recorded that cover of Young Hearts Run Free.
Yeah.
Which, that exists.
Yeah. And that would, I can only imagine how good that is. And so, someone who was an engineer for the sessions with Nick Martinelli back when MySpace was a thing, I'd gotten in touch with him, and he talked a little bit about the process behind. I think he told me then that she had recorded a few up-tempo songs with him, and he said he couldn't believe there was one song, and it wasn't Anything Can Happen. It had another title. He said he could not believe that wasn't released as a single because it was so good. And I remember him saying that when him and Nick were in the studio with her, she would sing the song to discuss the process. She would just sing the song fully through about 6 times, 6 takes. And then they would pick the best from those takes. And he said that when she started singing, Nick and him just looked at each other like they could not believe. Like when she opened her mouth, he said, when she opens her mouth, money drops. Yeah. It's such a commercial sound. Yeah. And they were just floored. They were like, because I think everyone who worked with her even went in not realizing just how good she was.
Yeah.
You know, the singles really never touched upon that. It really was, if you were a fan, if you listened to the albums, you really got a sense of how good she was, or if you saw her live. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons why Prince, kept working with her. He probably was like, what, I don't know if you've heard 101, right?
Oh my, of course. Yeah. One is,
it's haunting.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's certainly the best thing they did together.
Totally. Mine too.
It's a Sheena collaboration. Vocally, there's also a Prince demo of that that's lurking around the internet.
Yes.
And actually, which is great. It's
and there's 2 tracks, we believe, that are unreleased that Sheena recorded with Prince. But they're probably in either Prince's vaults or MCA's vaults. One of this is called Jaguar.
Yeah.
And it was a song that Mavis Staples wound up recording. That's the other one is a song that she wrote with him called Come Back to Me. And that's probably in his possession. So I don't know if we'll ever see that or hear that.
Yeah, who knows about that, because it's Prince stuff is so I don't know if it belongs to the Prince estate, then I would have thought it would never.
Right.
Who owns it, I guess. Where the masters are exactly. Yeah, who knows? I don't know if that's true. I read the Jaguar thing myself. I'd love to hear that if that was great song. Because they were amazing together.
They were
incredible together.
Yeah, but we have to say, what a remarkable job you did with this.
Yeah,
remarkable. I mean, the art, the note from Sheena, your words, every little detail in this box set is incredible. The booklet is incredible. The pictures, the colors, everything, perfection, right down to the chronological order of all the songs and the charts, and love it.
That cover, by the way, Ike and I felt that should have been the cover to Do You.
Yeah, it's from the Do You sessions. Yeah,
because
it's a great.
Do You is probably her worst cover picture.
Yeah, I remember people. I quite like that sort of punky.
I like the look. I just didn't. I didn't care for that.
I can
picture.
See why it was a little bit of a. I think that's better.
Yeah,
this is
for sure.
Great cover.
Yeah,
great
and
cover.
it's very Paisley Park, isn't it? With the pearls.
Yes.
It's that vibe she was rocking. And
little Madonna with the pearls, and
Did you speak to Sheena for this project?
I haven't directly spoken to her yet. No, okay. I hope I can soon. But she did. I mean, initially, I'm going through. So the entire EMI, what was EMI, that catalog is owned by RT Industries.
Yeah,
it's on here. So RT Industry own an entire thing, and so Ian Peel is the guy at RT Industries, and he's liaison. And originally I was told that Sheena wouldn't be. Sheena doesn't like to look back.
Yeah.
You do what you want, but Sheena doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And then she surprised me. That came back. She'd written this whole thing. She'd written this whole. There's an extract in there. That's not the full thing. That's just an extract of it in there. And she'd written a whole sort of like reminiscence about like her recording time.
It kind of ties a bow on the whole package, right?
Yeah, it's really nice, and and so hopefully, I hope that as things continue, so we'll definitely have a lot more stuff coming out. Hopefully, the unreleased stuff. The difficulty there is just basically there's a lot of loops without going to. There's lots of hoops to jump through to get it all sort of.
Of course.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it happened for the tracks on this one, and I think it will happen again, but I don't know exactly what and whatever.
Well, you got to promise us that when you get some kind of breaking news, you're going to call and come back on here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I have to say, isn't this like her first release since Fabulous to hit the UK charts?
Yes.
And sell out.
Yeah, I'm really. I was really excited about that. You know? It sold out within less than. It sold out literally after about 3 days.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
And
within a week.
You were a part of it. You know, that's amazing. Congratulations.
And I'm pleased, and it shows that there's a whole fan base because people forget what a big star Sheena was at that era. You know how there was something I looked up on some statistics I saw. They had analyzed the singles of the 80s and done like a rundown of who.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh. She was number 11 overall.
Yes, and she was second only to Madonna in terms of female artists, in terms of weeks having hits. Yeah. So that I mean that's huge.
Yeah. And to show you what a bitter fan I am, a bitter. They did not include the weeks that she was on the charts with You Got the Look because she was unlisted. So if she had been included in that went to number 2 in the US, she would have been in the top 10.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I love that attention to detail.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
And that attention to detail has me asking one more question.
Right.
Will the box set, I'm a little disappointed that not every album will get its own special reissue, but I understand. But will the box set include all of the albums as they originally were released?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And they will be digitally remastered?
Oh, yeah. Everything's been digitally remastered. Yeah.
The sound quality was exceptional on I actually got the CDs and I put them in the car and it was amazing to hear the clarity and did you do that? Who did that?
Yeah. No, I didn't do it myself. It was done by a guy called Simon Murphy.
Yeah, he did a great job.
He did an incredible job. That's another reason why this has taken the scale. Like I was saying before, the scale is different from when I've done the ones before, like the Helen Terry or Wendy and Lisa I did, and a few others. I didn't really do it I didn't have this depth of access, which is fantastic because it's the entire catalog. It means you can do this because often you're going through like a Warner Brothers or something, and with Warner Brothers, you just you wouldn't necessarily even get that. You wouldn't get access to their entire like vault list, and you wouldn't necessarily clear a unreleased track. In this, that's a huge possibility. So I wanted to make sure that for everything we sourced the original masters and took them from the original masters, because over the years some of them have been reissued. Yeah. They haven't necessarily been done from them. I don't know where they were done. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure we rather than take them from other sources that have been done and just reissue them, which it's a quick and easy way to do it.
This is by far the best sounding remasters that we've heard as fans. Yeah. And also okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! It was just about locating the masters and get the best sound quality. Exactly. That's why it sounds so good. Yeah. I think on when somebody pointed out to me that on When He Shines in particular, which is really quiet at the beginning, on previous versions, there's a sort of slightly muffledness, and the clarity is there. So you get softness.
You could actually hear the keys being played.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how clear it is.
Yeah. It's very exciting to do that. And fortunately, so far, I've been able to locate all the masters for everything. So that's been quite good. They're either in, like I say, they're in London somewhere, or they're here, there.
Yeah. Now, when you sell out, like you said, this sold out in three days.
Yes.
Are they reprinting more fans can? Okay, good.
Yeah, they repressed it. Yeah, I think they may well be on the second repress now.
Okay.
So yeah, because it was on pre-sale for a month maybe before, and so already the orders come in, I believe. I'm not sure how they. And then also some go to Amazon and some go to outside things. Right. So there was still, but yeah. So it sold out, and now it's been repressed. And
congrats!
Great, yeah, congratulations, and thank you.
I'm really pleased about that. And also, of course, if this hadn't sold out and it only sold 10 copies and no one was interested, then it was highly unlikely that.
Yeah, that's why Ike and I bought 3,000 of them.
I have a pile. I'm sitting on them.
You're welcome, Adam.
Thank you. I'm really pleased people are interested, and I'm really pleased it's done well, and I'm really pleased to put her work out there again in the best way possible. I just thought as I was approaching this, this is not gonna, the last album she had was, you could say 20 years ago. The last reissues were done years ago. Let's do this in the most definitive way as possible. Yeah. Because it may never happen. Who knows, it will happen again. And I just wanted to do the attention to detail. So I want to make sure that we have, all the mixes, even the ones that people have forgotten about, the ones that never got released.
Right.
If it can come out, it will come out.
Yeah, which would be amazing.
All out. And also, just to return to what you said earlier, just quickly, as well as all that stuff, the 1986 unreleased stuff, there is other stuff.
You just made a bunch of fans very happy.
All right.
Not loads and loads, but there's stuff.
Yeah.
Tucked away here and there. Other songs like, there's a song that you had
to go right back to RuPaul again with Tucked, didn't you? But again, we thank you so much, Adam, for coming on our show. Honestly, you could have been on any show, but you came on this one, and we're so grateful for that. But you are going to stick around for a little bit. We're going to play a little game.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, one of the games that we usually do every week is called "What is Adam Mattera Thinking?"
Okay.
So what we will do, this will be a little game for Chris and I.
Well, let's just clarify. You don't play it when he's not on the show.
Wait, what was that?
I said, let's just clarify. You don't play What is Adam Mattera Thinking when he's not on the show.
Maybe we do. Maybe we do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a question.
Right.
I'm going to say hot or cold. You're not going to answer it. Okay. Chris and I are going to try to figure out what you're going to answer. You could either answer hot or cold, and then we try to figure out who's going to win this game, Chris and myself. Okay. All right. So let's just, for giggles, hot or cold. Now we'll write it down. You can whisper an answer to me if you want, Adam. All right. I have my answer. You ready? Good. You can answer.
So now I answer.
Yep.
Hot.
All right. So he's got 1 point. Okay. Justin Bieber or Adam Ant? Okay, you can answer.
Adam Ant, 100%. Hooray.
God. Okay, I got to win this one. Handcuffs or mittens? Oh, Adam, don't disappoint me.
Okay, I'll go for handcuffs.
Chris, you should have said mittens. Los Angeles or New York City?
Oh,
Okay.
New York.
Last one. The 80s or the 90s?
80s.
All right, Chris won. Whatever.
I got you, Adam. I got you.
Ruins everything. So, next segment is questions and answers. And a couple of people sent in some questions.
Oh, okay.
So at Kay from Germany.
Yeah, I know
yes,
Kay.
She said, thanks to Adam, I made it into the credits for the definitive singles release of Sheena Easton. Question is, if you were forced to pick a song of Sheena to perform at a karaoke bar,
oh my God,
which would you pick?
Well, assuming I could actually sing. Otherwise, I'd be too. I don't know. The one that immediately. I'll go for 101.
Oh,
wow, that's ballsy.
I was gonna. Yeah,
that would be. There's no way I could pull it off.
Oh,
it would be fun.
But
fun.
We're gonna have to. I'm coming out to London, and we're going to a karaoke bar. I would probably do When He Shines.
I was going to say When He Shines, but then the other one that I was thinking. I mean, what song?
Chris?
Almost Over You.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that about me.
There's an amazing thing I came across when I was doing research for the first album. There's an amazing live performance they're doing When He Shines on British television.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Oh.
Have you seen that one?
Oh, yeah. Was that on Top of the Pops?
Oh, there's the Top of the Pops one where she's singing live, which is fantastic. There's another one.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Yeah, which was, it's not on YouTube, but I managed to get a copy from the BBC of some forgotten TV show called Friday Night, Saturday Morning, I think it's called. And it's just her and a piano.
Oh.
Yeah, it's incredible.
She did. Was it for the... Chris, you'll know this one. Maybe This Time when she sang that song.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that
Variety Hour? Royal Variety Hour. Yeah, that was her first time performing. No, second time performing for them.
Yes,
for the royal
the first
family.
time she did When He Shines.
That's right.
Next year she did Maybe This Time.
Yeah, that's right.
So good.
Yeah,
so
because one of the things I spoke to Christopher Neal, who produced her first 3 albums.
Oh,
because when they did the Royal Variety Show, because remember Sheena had only just kind of literally, it happened so quickly, that beginning thing. Like her first single came out, her TV documentary came out, her second single came out, it goes in top 10. Then the first one comes back into top 10.
Right.
And then they put the third single. They put One Man Woman out in the UK. This is, of course.
Mm.
And then she got asked to do the Royal Variety. So originally they were going to do One Man Woman on the Royal Variety. But instead, quite cleverly, they thought, this is a different audience, this is the whole thing. They had When He Shines wasn't out for months. Like it was way ahead of its being released. So she did When He Shines on the Royal Variety months before it got released. In order, with the thinking being, let's show people what she can do.
Right.
This is like people have an idea of her maybe as being a certain pop singer singing a certain type of song, but actually, here she is in that sort of Streisand-esque.
Yeah.
Well, for us, it was the Tonight Show when she did When He Shines for the first time.
And
really?
Have you seen that one?
No.
Amazing. That's what really... Morning Train was great, but when she sang When He Shines, it literally sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, and it was a similar arrangement. She just did it with the keyboardist.
Yep.
And this was her first performance on The Tonight Show, first U.S. late night talk show. The interesting thing was she had not included, the record company did not include When He Shines on the first album here in the U.S., but she chose to sing it on the show for probably the same reason, just to show people I can sing more than just your standard pop fare. And as a result, because of demand, people started calling, asking for that song. They stripped the original intended second album closer song, Family of One, they took that off of the Isn't It So? Sorry.
Isn't It So? Yeah.
They took that off the album and put When He Shines on, and then they released it as the second single off the second album.
Yes.
So that was all because of her performing it on the Tonight Show. If she had not done that, it probably never would have been released in the US.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Those first 3 albums, there was that after that, they become very coordinated, but in between, pretty much more coordinated in the US and the UK. But before that, there was like the singles were released different times, different singles, different album track listings, three albums, things being removed.
Right.
They tend to shorten the albums for some reason.
Yeah.
What was Chris Neal's? How was that conversation with him?
Oh, he's been great. He's been, because I've been doing liner notes for the first few albums, and I've been interviewing him about the first 2 so far, actually, because everything like I said, will eventually come out. So I'm trying to, it's a lot of work to get all those together. So he's been really a huge source of information and really helpful, and also putting me in touch with different songwriters. So I've been speaking to different songwriters at work.
Oh, sweet.
Lisa and Vale.
Peter Vale, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So Peter Vale, Dominic Bagatti.
Oh yes, wow.
Yeah.
Laurie Palmer.
Oh yeah. Flory, yeah. You know, one of the things I've always wanted to know from Sheena was whether or not she deliberately sought out female songwriters, because more than any performer that I know, she has recorded more songs written by female songwriters. And interestingly enough, they've usually wound up being her biggest hits.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hadn't actually.
You could have been with me.
You Could Have Been With Me, Modern Girl, Morning Train. I think When He Shines, right, was Flory.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Almost Over You, Strut, Do It for Love.
Yeah, Adele Bertai, wasn't it? Do It for Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd have to. If I do get to speak to her, I must bring that up, or maybe just say something about the lyrics, which you related to more. I don't know.
Right.
A great writer. Who wrote? She wrote "Isn't It So" under a different name, actually. So there are 2 songs that she recorded, 2 great songs. Not that well-known a songwriter, but she wrote these 2 brilliant songs. Isn't It So and Weekend in Paris.
Oh, that's a great song.
That's Sue Quinn. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Why did she write "Isn't It So" under a different name?
I can't remember the answer. I think for some reason she had been advised to. There was some sort of legal or weird. I don't know. I can't remember the exact answer, and I can't remember what the pseudonym was that she wrote it under either. But yeah, I can't remember that exactly now.
Wow.
But great songs, and she's hardly had that. She hasn't had that many songs recorded. Sheena sort of championed her at that time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So we want to finish off with Kay saying that she said all the best from the other side of the Brexit, and thank you for your great work. So we have Ken from New York City who said, have you ever worked with Kim Wilde?
No. I do. Cherry Red have been doing a lot of stuff with Kim Wilde, but I've not been involved. I got Alan Connor, actually, who's great, who's been very helpful to me. He's been doing reissues for a long time, and Alan's been great because he knows a lot of the technical stuff that I don't. So when I get confused about what's the difference between a 24 track and a what's this other thing? It's called a so and so. I've never heard of it. Yeah. It's okay.
They're great. And we have one more question from JoJo from Pittsburgh, who said, after listening to all the Sheena albums, what is your ultimate favorite Sheena Easton album?
It's really hard to choose one, but if I have to choose one at gunpoint, I'll go for Man's Money Music. Probably one of the least successful albums, but in terms I do love The Lover. I think The Lover in Me is fantastic.
But hard to compare the two.
They're
They're such different albums, such different styles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Madness, Money, and Music was incredible.
Yeah, and sadly, it was a dip for her commercial. The first one did brilliantly, the second one did really well, drop, and then she came back.
Yeah.
But maybe it was perceived as she was a little bit old before her time. She was still in her early 20s, but she was doing an album that maybe a woman in her late 30s. But in terms of the caliber of songwriting and her singing, it's right up there.
Yeah.
I wonder whether for her, she seems so engaged in the material and so committed.
Mature. She was very mature vocally, you know.
Yeah, very. Like she does a version of Janis Ian's "In the Winter" on that.
Do you know? I seen her perform in '82 before Madness and Money Music came out, and that song. I mean, it was an outdoor venue, and her vocals when she was just belting it out were you could hear it through the whole, and it was just incredible.
Yeah, I bet. A few people have recorded that song actually. That Dusty Springfield recorded it as well. Of course, Janis Ian did Janis Ian's version of Janis Ian. It's a separate thing.
Yeah.
Sheena's is right. Certainly right.
Clear.
Have you seen her live, Adam?
I've never seen her live. Isn't that shocking?
We got to make that happen.
Yeah.
She hardly ever performs in the UK now.
Yeah, I know.
And
you didn't get to see her when she was in 42nd Street.
No, I didn't. I don't know why I didn't. But I wish I'd seen her back in. I wish I'd seen her in that peak era.
Yeah.
Do that. But I was just too young.
Same here.
If I didn't live in London, if I'd maybe lived in London at the time, it would have been. But everything was like I was living down in Devon. It was hundreds of miles away.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why. I just.
Chris, you may have seen her more than I have. I think I've seen her probably over 24 times.
Oh my God! Is that right?
From you're talking from '82 to present day.
What the first gig you went to was '82.
'82.
What, her first US tour?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of venues was she performing? What size?
This was an outdoor venue. It had to be 3,000.
So it was like it wasn't a free concert though. It was like a.
No, you paid. It was a big stadium. I don't know. You don't have to look it up. And maybe it was more than 3,000. But it also had a lawn out. It was all outdoors, but they were covered dome, and it was just the sound there was incredible.
In the 80s, she played mid amphitheaters. So they were usually between 5,000 and 10,000.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, Chris. It might have been more than 3,000 at the Garden State Arts Center.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Wow. So I wish I'd seen her at that time.
Yeah. Those were, and the Lover and Me tour I saw there as well, and that was insane.
Well, see, one of the things we didn't. We sort of touched upon is her ability to do these different genres. And one of the statistics about her that it's amazing. It's not a more celebrated fact. It's still quite incredible. She still retains that title of being the only artist who's ever had top 3 hits on all the main Billboard charts.
Right.
The R&B, the pop, adult contemporary, country, and
dance.
And she does all of them convincingly.
Yeah.
You don't feel like she's trying to do this thing and it's not quite nailing it. It's like it's all really and it's
authentic
range. Yeah. And it's incredible that no one else has come. No one else has come close to that. That's still a fact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. You could play a song by her, 2 songs in a row, and most people wouldn't know it's the same singer. Like you could do that from different eras in her career, different genres, and people wouldn't understand that that's the same singer. They'd be like, "What? What is that?" I remember a popular R&B host, Donnie Simpson. He used to do Video Soul for us on Black Entertainment Television.
Yeah,
and he said he played her Angela Wimbush track, "Fire and Rain" for friends.
Yes.
And he was like, I didn't tell them who it was, and then I told them, and they were like falling off their chair.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't believe that was the same singer that sung "For Your Eyes Only." So I think you're right. That's part of her
very
underrated ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire and Rain. I'm glad you mentioned that one because Fire and Rain is her most because the Poppy and the LA and Babyface stuff was more in keeping with like that's the kind of stuff they were doing with Pebbles. Obviously, it's very different. But the Angela Winbush, that particular track to do with Angela Winbush, it's like a deep, maybe deep soul's not the right word.
It's like Isley Brothers.
Yeah, it's a proper sort of really absolutely nails that. I wish she had done a whole album with Angela Winbush.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Yeah.
And it also goes back to what you were saying before about her working with women. It's like her the woman producer, and of course Patrice Rushen she later worked with. I think there's something there in what you're saying about
I really do believe that she was a feminist in that sense. Like she really wanted to promote females in the industry. Yeah. You know, she had a female manager. She worked with female photographers. I mean, she did work with Herb Ritz and she did male photographers too, but she also went out of her way to work with female photographers as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
The DVD releases, will they include only promotional videos from EMI, or are you able to get like access to her TV special, her concert video?
Well, I'm hoping that yes, all the videos. In terms of licensing, they shouldn't be an issue with that. I haven't worked with video before a lot on DVD, so it's kind of a slightly new territory. So I'm learning that stuff. In terms of, there's also clearances that have to be done, all kinds of different things. But the video should be fine. I'm really hoping that the VHS releases that we had back in the day, which would be
Act One
and
Live at the Hollywood Palace.
Yeah, that one. Those two, which haven't been properly released on. Well, I think there's pirate copies.
Bootlegs, yeah.
Well, that's what. Yeah, those for sure. I'm really hoping should be okay. TV appearances is something I've been looking into. It's tricky. It can be quite expensive. Clearances can be hard. So I don't know. If I can, I will. Yeah. I'd like to. When I was mentioning earlier about the performance of When He Shines, I found that was because I was getting stuff from the BBC to look at to possibly try and to go on. But we'll have to see what happens with that. And everything has to be approved by Sheena as well. So
yeah. Well, cross our fingers. Geez, that would be amazing.
I would love that to happen, but we'll have to wait and see if it's possible.
Well, again, you better come back to us and tell us.
No, I'll let you know. But I really hope the stuff that has been released, like the official videos and the concert, that seems to be less. That should be more achievable. So I'm really hoping that can happen. Yeah. So those are with the DVDs.
Great.
Well, Adam, thank you again for coming on our show. Congrats on an amazing, amazing box set for Sheena Easton. And I hope when you break some good news, you come back.
Well, I really hope. Yes, there should be more. And I'm hoping that the next stuff will be out in the first quarter of next year.
Good. And then hopefully on the next episode, too, you'll tell us which male celebrity tried to make a move at you during an interview. I gotta know. I gotta know.
Adam, truly a pleasure. You're such a nice guy. It's evident why people were able to open up to you as an interviewer, and just I'm so happy for you and your success, and thank you again for this effort on behalf of all the Sheena fans like myself.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed talking to you. It was really fun.
Yes, I loved every minute of it, and I hope we could do it again.
You made me totally forget that it's now 2:00 in the morning.
You're a dirty stay out, Adam.
I'm going to stay up all night now. Let's keep going.
But anyway, this is the part of the show where we wave goodbye. So thank you again for being a part of our show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks so much.